Jason had never been the type to sneak out. He usually played it safe, keeping out of trouble. But that Friday night, his friends were heading to a party deep in the woods, and the temptation was just too strong. His parents were strict, so there was no chance they'd let him go. The only option? Sneak out after they went to bed. It was almost 11 p.m. when Jason slowly crept out of his room, listening for any sound from his parents' bedroom. The house was silent, except for the ticking clock in the hallway. He grabbed his hoodie, slipped on his shoes, and tiptoed down the stairs. The front door creaked as he opened it, and he winced, pausing to make sure no one heard. Satisfied, he stepped outside, the cold night air hitting him as he pulled the door shut behind him. The woods were only about a 15-minute walk from his house, but they always gave him the creeps. His friends were already there, waiting by the old, abandoned train tracks that ran through the forest. As he made his way down the streetlights flickered, casting long shadows on the ground. He could feel the quiet of the night pressing in on him. His phone buzzed in his pocket, a message from his friend Tyler. "Hurry up, man. We're starting without you." Jason picked up the pace, his footsteps quick on the pavement, trying to shake the uneasy feeling creeping over him. The entrance to the woods appeared ahead, marked by a large crooked tree that seemed to bend over the path. He hesitated for a second, looking into the darkness between the trees. Something felt off, but he shrugged it off, telling himself it was just nerves. He'd been through these woods before. Nothing to worry about. As he entered the woods, the tall trees blocked out what little moonlight there was. The path was narrow and uneven, with branches snapping under his feet. Jason pulled out his phone, using the screen as a makeshift flashlight, the pale light barely reaching more than a few feet ahead. 10 minutes in, and he started hearing strange noises. Twigs snapping, leaves rustling. He assumed it was just animals, but it made him feel uneasy. He tried calling Tyler to check where they were, but the call didn't go through. No signal, just grate. Suddenly there was a loud crack behind him, like something heavy stepping on a branch. Jason stopped dead in his tracks, heart pounding. He slowly turned around, shining the dim light of his phone into the darkness. Nothing, but the woods were too quiet now, like everything was holding its breath. He could feel someone or something watching him. "Tyler, you guys there?" Jason called out, his voice shaky. No answer. He started walking faster, almost jogging down the path, glancing over his shoulder every few seconds. The sounds behind him were getting closer, like someone was walking, matching his pace. Panic started to set in, and Jason broke into a full run, not caring about the noise anymore. The path twisted and turned, and Jason realized he had no idea where he was. The woods were dense, and it was impossible to see more than a few feet ahead. He stopped, gasping for breath, trying to figure out where he went wrong. That's when he heard it, a low whisper, barely audible but unmistakable. It came from right behind him. "Jason." His heart stopped. He spun around, shining his phone light wildly into the trees. There was no one there. His hands were shaking so badly, he almost dropped his phone. Every instinct told him to run, but his legs felt frozen to the spot. Then he saw it. Just ahead on the path, barely visible in the shadows, was a figure. Tall, thin, and completely still. Jason blinked, thinking his eyes were playing tricks on him, but it was still there, watching him. Without thinking, Jason turned and sprinted in the opposite direction, not caring if he was running deeper into the woods. He could hear heavy footsteps behind him now, growing louder, getting closer. His lungs burned and his legs felt like they would give out, but he didn't dare stop. Finally, he saw the crooked tree ahead, the exit. He pushed himself harder, his mind racing with fear. As he broke through the tree line and back onto the street, he didn't stop running until he reached his house. He slammed the front door shut, locking it, leaning against it, gasping for air. Jason never told his friends what happened that night. He didn't need to. When he saw Tyler the next day and asked how the party went, Tyler looked at him, confused. "What party? We never made it. Got a flat tire and just went home." Jason's blood ran cold. If Tyler never made it to the woods, who or what had he seen? If this story sent chills down your spine, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more terrifying tales. Have you ever had an experience where something was watching you? Share your story in the comments below.